All right. So, hi, this is Phil from PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind Group page. And we go live every other Monday at 6 Central. So, just to let you guys know, if you're just catching it or you're catching it on a replay, um, just so you guys know if you want to join. So we answer questions. We usually have a topic of what we're talking about, and then um, what we do is we answer questions, and then I start with my agenda. Which and today what we're going to talk about is cashless society. A lot of times I get people. I talk about the ATM business. Been in the business for 23 years, and what happens is people say, "Well, Phil, I see we're going through a cashless society. Good afternoon, and I don't." I don't see that be any reason to invest in the ATM business. It doesn't make sense to me. I feel that we're going to go more cashless than we are now. And I said, well, that's fine. I understand what you're saying, but there is still a lot of opportunity to be involved in the ATM business. And I wouldn't talk about it if it didn't make money. We make money in the ATM business. Is there some places that is not beneficial to the ATM business? Absolutely. There are. It's the ATM business or ATMs are not suitable for every type of business, and it's not beneficial for you if you decide to get an ATM business. It's not a good placement. Now, people say, well, yeah, but people are using cash less and less and less, and it depends on the environment. We focus on the environments that are cash intensified, places that there is a need for cash. We also focus on places um, that they were solving an issue. So um, on a convenience store, we got heavy traffic, so there's a need for cash. Convenience stores take credit cards. That's true, but there's a lot of people. There's a lot of traffic in there, and people stop off and they get cash for a variety of reasons, whatever those reasons are. In the urban community, there isn't a bank. Usually, the banks have pulled out in inner cities. A lot of banks have pulled out. So the only way to get uh, their funds, there's a lot of people who are on government assistance. They have a card. They get they get government assistance. Usually, depending on the day, but the 1st and 15th, they have to take that and have to go to an ATM to get cash. There's another cash reason. If you're in gaming, any kind of gaming, casino gaming, any kind of gaming at all, the only way that you can do gaming is cash. You want to play in American Legion halls or bingo places, it's all cash. As far as if you want to participate in bingo or you want to, they have pull tabs in American Legions and Moose clubs and charitable organizations. It's all cash. Any other kind of gaming, um, legalized gaming or simulated gaming, it's all cash. In dispensaries, it's mostly cash. They do from time to time. They try to come up with a system to skirt around um, the cash system, but it's predominantly cash in dispensaries. So those are examples of places that we can put ATMs that generate a need for an ATM. Now, here's the other thing: is I give you a story that happened to me. I went to Atlanta a few weeks ago. I went to a conference, and at the conference, I was leaving the conference to go to. Well, here, let's just start with this. We had an hour summit. We have an hour to get. They broke for lunch. Where we were situated was across the street from the mall. Everybody, they didn't have food at the hotel. They had food. There was a little diner, but it was closed during this time. So you could go across the street to the mall. There was a food court there. All right. There was like 400 people at this conference. Everybody went one way. Myself and a group of about 8 other people went down. There was a few restaurants. So we went in to the restaurant. Now we only have an hour. There's 8 people. How are we going to do that? So I went up to the host and I said, look, here's the situation. We got an hour to eat lunch. Is there any way we can help? They said, well, you know what? It's going to take a little while. I said, here's $40 cash, not credit. Here's $40. Can you think you can get us in and out an hour? Absolutely, we can do that. So now I had the hostess or the host. It was a guy. The manager came out and helped us, and we had a waitress. We got in and out 40 minutes. for these people so we can eat lunch, cash. So it worked. All right. Do I always carry cash? I don't always carry cash, but in this instance, I did. I went to the whole hotel ATM. I got money, and it gave me buying power in this situation. Now I'm leaving the conference. I got my Uber. I punch into my Uber, and I don't even know if this is recommended, but I punched in my Uber. Might have been Lyft. I don't know who it was. I'm not going to divulge. But in Atlanta, they have two airports. They have an international airport and they have a regular airport. I did not know that. I've been in Atlanta many times. I looked on my app. I may have not paying attention, and I selected the wrong airport. My driver takes me to the airport. I noticed that's not the right airport. I said, "Hey, is this the regular airport?" You know what they said? No, this is international. That's what you requested. I said, "But I didn't know that I requested that." They said, "Well," I said, "What do I do now?" I gotta go through TSA. I got an hour left from where I'm at. I gotta go through they said the driver says, "Well, see those buses? That bus will take you to the other airport." Well, I don't know, how am I gonna get on that bus? How long is that gonna take? Are they gonna drop me in the right spot? I didn't want to chance it. This is my last flight out of Atlanta. I'm in trouble. So I said, "Look, I got $20. Is there any way you could take me to the other airport?" They said, "Absolutely." Because if I've been in this situation where the Uber driver or Lyft driver has taken me to the wrong address, and they said that's the closest address because it doesn't come up in my system, and they said you can request another driver from here. It wasn't that same driver. Instead of being that driver, it was a completely different driver. I didn't want to chance it. I'm already in the car. I'm already ready to go. So what happens is, give the person $20. They took me to the airport, and I went through TSA, got on my flight, didn't miss my flight. That's always the power of cash. So I always recommend to carry cash when you travel. This eliminates it gives you buying power and bargaining power. So I'm a big proponent of carrying cash, just so you can go through and have you can avoid catastrophes, because credit, it's like not everybody takes credit cards, and in this situation, there was no other opportunity to at least make what I wanted to make happen. But to go back to the cashless society, I'm a firm believer that they're never going to eliminate cash. And one of the things that they don't ever talk about that I notice is say, "Oh, it's much easier with a credit card." Well, I tell you what, knock on wood, I've been very fortunate in my life, 52 years. I've never been robbed. Very fortunate. But I had my identity stolen a bunch of times. And what's that from? It's all from credit. Nobody ever talks about the credit and identity theft. My wife, debit card, 4 times, usually 3 to 4 times a year, almost every year, they give you a new debit card because of somebody steals the card, just the numbers. They don't steal a physical card. They just steal the numbers off the card. Now, what do we have to do to protect ourselves? We have to do, and I guess this would be a good for LifeLock or whatever that is. I mean, that would be a good commercial. Maybe they could give me some endorsement money. But whatever those companies, we had to hire that company so we don't get our identity stolen. So they lock us down. But you wouldn't have to do that. If you have cash all the time, there wouldn't be an issue. So I'm a big proponent of cash. I'm a big proponent of the ATM business. I think, and it's going to be around for a while. But hey, some people say, "Well, you know what? I think it's going away." Then that's fine. It gives us more opportunity for the people who are in the game. There's always this opportunity for the ATMs, but again, it's not going to be in every spot. It's not going to be in a regular retail store like a clothing store. That's not going to be the spot to place an ATM. You want to look in places, high traffic places, and you want to look at do I solve a cash need? Do I solve a need? A lot of times we do. This is mobile season. This is the time for it. A lot of the fairs and festivals, there is the need for cash. So we put ATMs in there. Usually, like a Rotary, they usually run a festival, or a Lions Club or a Moose Club. They'll run these. They do it once a year. They'll do these charity fundraisers, and it's a mobile event. They'll have beer. They'll have bands. They'll have food. those are all areas where we put ATMs because there's a cash needs. They get cash, they buy tickets, and then tickets buy food and beer or drinks or whatever they're selling. Sometimes they have other vendors, and some of the vendors take cash, and some of the vendors do take credit. But we do have the opportunity for an ATM, so it provides a cash need. So if you decide to get an ATM business, you're looking at the ATM business, and it's like, well, where am I going to put this ATM? You gotta basically solve a problem, and the problem is you have to solve a payment solution. Are they taking payments? How are they taking payments? And what is it? Is if the place is taking credit cards and you have a credit card, okay, great. If the place is taking cash and you don't have a credit card, then you need an ATM. There is, we're in Chicago. We see a lot of taquerias. They're cash only. They set up. They just take cash. We place an ATM there. We make money. Again, it's not every situation, but it is in a bunch of locations that there are opportunities. So you got to think, is this going to be a viable opportunity for you 5-10 years? I still believe that it is. I still believe that we just did a keypad upgrade that they said the next upgrade is going to come 2030. All right. So there's another 8 years that they're talking about right now. If not longer, I believe that we'll probably never get away from cash because there's too many. Cash is about freedom, and freedom gives you choice. So those are some of my thoughts on it. We have some questions. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. All right. Let's see. If customers go in a cashless business, what would they? Wouldn't they already know to bring cash? Okay. So we get this question a lot. So if they go in if it says cash only business, so it says cash only business, and the customer says, oh, well, I should know to bring cash. Well, not every person has cash on them. They have, just like people say, well, hey, I see the business is going more towards non-cash. I don't carry any cash. I know my kids, I always empower them to carry at least $50 in cash just in case they run into a situation. But most people, they don't carry cash. So now it's like, well, hey, I don't have any cash on me. How can you take credit card? And they say no. So now they're like, okay, what do I do now? If I want to get something to eat or whatever the venue is, they have to look to get a cash. I know some of the, we did some hair braiding places. They were cash only. Some barbershops, they're cash only. So some tattoo places, they're cash only. So you go to do their services, you have to look to get cash. That's one of the benefits that we've found out. We put an ATM in, and now it complements their business and it makes us money. So let's see. All right. So I got to see. Are there going to be a lot of cash only businesses, or are they starting to die out? Every day I see there's cash only businesses that open up. A lot of people, they don't want to take. Here's the thing: they do credit card. If they take credit cards, and some of the businesses, what happens is they lose 3% or 4%, depending on what the credit card charges of that revenue. So now you're sharing 3% or 4% with the credit card companies. And so you look at, well, taquerias or some of these businesses, why don't they take credit cards? Well, one of the reasons I found out that a lot of people or some of these places don't take is they're immigrants from another country, and they don't have the backing to do credit card processing. So they rely on a cash only business. They're still in business. They can get a business license, but they have some challenges getting. We had a liquor store. It was a cash only liquor store, and I know the banker who I went over and I said, do you know, it was across the street from the bank, and I know the vice president of the bank. We were talking, and I said, I went over to a liquor store. We're going to put an ATM over there, and she goes, we also do credit card processing. I said, we're going to start doing business. And she was all mad about it. She's like, man, we've been working on that customer for over a year. We're real close to getting them approved. And I said, well, approved for what? She said, for credit card processing. They have some challenges. They're not U.S. citizens. And I said, well, I didn't know anything about that. We were going to put an ATM into their store. And they said, oh, okay, fine. So that when she said that, I think maybe that's some of the challenges. I don't know that for sure, but that's what she said. She alluded to. So I was wondering, or I was figuring out, hey, you know what? That's maybe why some of the businesses that they are cash only. Maybe that's the reason. And I don't know, but hey, I don't ask those questions. That's fine with me. I'm happy that they're doing business with us and we're putting ATMs in there. We're making money off those businesses. So um, maybe that's the reason why, but let's see what else it say. Let's see. Because of cashless society coming, would it be better to invest in credit card processing instead of in ATMs? All right. So here's what I can tell you about the ATM business because I do both. The ATM business is a nice, clean, easy business. There's not a bunch of competition. So there is, when you look at the business and you say, hey, you know what? I looked around, there's ATMs in this place or that place. It looks like it's a saturated market. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's not. I believe that there's still a lot of opportunity in the ATM business. But here's the nice thing about the ATM business. Once you establish the relationship between the customer, it's very rarely that you lose the location. You have to be really do bad business to lose the location. What's bad business? ATM's completely out of service because it's broke, or the ATM's out of money all the time. Those are the two things that get kicked out of location. Very rarely do you lose a location from somebody who comes behind you and says, "Oh, I'll give you an extra, nickel or whatever it is." You very, very rarely lose location because of that. And if you protect yourself with a SLA, site location agreement, then you'll stay in that location a long time. Also, keep a rapport. Most of the businesses we do business with, they're small business owners just like I am. So we build a rapport. They like you. You do good work for them. You keep the ATM full. You keep the ATM working all the time. And you know what? You make money. And they make money. So there's not a lot of competition in the business. Here's the other thing. Credit card processing. Not different. There's a million people all the time calling, and I'm in the business. They're calling on your accounts weekly. Hey, let me look at your rates. Let me save you a nickel. Let me show you how you can save money. And it's always a bait and switch. They're going to save you money on the front end, and then they charge you on the back end. They charge you hidden monthly fees. They charge you hidden annual fees. They charge you hidden PCI compliance fees. They charge you hidden annual fees all the time. Another hidden, because they're still making their money some way, somewhere. The person who cold calls, they get them to switch, they make money, and then the company makes money. And then as soon as they do that, they lock them in a 3-year agreement, and boom. And all they do is they hit them with all these fees. And then when they go to cancel, then they hit them with a disconnection fee. So yes, you could look at getting in a credit card business. And if you want to do that, that's great. It's a good complement to the ATM business because you already established yourself in there with the ATM. And as long as you're there with the ATM, you can parlay it into the credit card business. But it's a tough business. It's very competitive, and you have to know it inside and out because there's sharks out there like you wouldn't believe trying to penetrate into those arenas. So, but it could be a good business if you parlay it with credit card or with the ATM business. So now some people say, well, hey, Phil, I see some of the digital currencies is like Bitcoin and some of the other coins out there. What do you think about that? Are we going more to that? If people are starting to use cryptocurrency, let's just call it cryptocurrency for all the currencies out there. And what is that? Where's that playing? And I hear about the digital dollar which a digital dollar, for most of you guys that don't know, that's where the U.S. government is going to come in and try to start, instead of a dollar, they want a digital currency. So what do you think about that? My viewpoint on that is that's still a long way away. If it ever happens, if that does happen and they go to digital currency, that eliminates Visa, eliminates MasterCard, eliminates the dollar, eliminates all those currencies in crypto. So I do not think it's going to happen. I know the Chinese government, whatever you want to say about China, good or bad, they're starting to implement that. But so we're not in a communist society. I would highly encourage you to talk to your congressperson, House rep, senator about anti-digital dollar. It'll take your freedom away like that. And if they do that with a digital dollar, that means that they can go into your bank account anytime and reappropriate the funds. I'm not pro against that. I know there's a lot of research that be done, but I remember seeing a video 2 years ago about somebody in China, and that's what they were talking about. So again, this is in China. So I highly encourage you to have a good relationship with your House rep or senator to really get all the facts on that. I know it changes all the time of what that can do and how they do it. But other than that, I still believe there's a lot of room for the ATM business. I believe that if if there's less people, there's more opportunity for me. But you know what? I highly encourage you guys to get into the business because it's a nice little easy business. It's a nice side hustle to make extra money. It doesn't take a lot of time. It takes some effort to get new locations, but you stay in the business. So it's just building blocks. You get one ATM, in a little while you get another ATM, and you can build slow and steady, and it helps out. It helps pay for car payments, helps pay for your phone bills. It helps pay for utility bills, and then pretty soon you can build up enough revenue that it becomes more of a full-time business than a side business. And at the end of the day, when you say, you know what, I want to move on to something else, maybe you want to take your ATM business and parlay it into real estate, then you can do that. You sell your ATM business now, you got a nice payment for real estate if you decide to get in real estate. I like the ATM business. It pays a nice residual income every month, every day. I don't have to worry about collecting anybody's money. I get the money right away. So in rent, in real estate, I got to worry about, are they going to pay? Are they going to pay? Are they going to pay? In the ATM business, the nice thing is if they don't pay, they don't get their money. So if they ask for $100 and they don't have money in their account, they don't get the money. So if they call that a denied transaction. And guess what? When they deny the transaction, I don't have to lend them money and they don't have to pay me back. And I don't make a surcharge. In real estate, I put a renter in there. They stay 30 days. And then I got to worry about the next month. Are they going to pay me or are they not going to pay me? And if they don't pay me, then I got to evict them and I go through the eviction process. In the ATM business, there is no eviction process. Do you have the money? Yes. You put your card in. They ask for $100. It checks in their bank account. Is the $100 there? Yes or no? If it's there, boom, it dispenses money. If it isn't, guess what? They don't get the 100 and I don't have to lend them the money and I don't have to try to collect it from them. So the ATM business is a nice business because of that. But for some of you guys don't know, the ATM business is basically all it is you're lending short-term money with guaranteed results. So what really happens is you put the cardholder puts their ATM card in there, it calls the bank, and it says, is this person requesting, let's call it $100, is the money in their account? If the money is in their account, then then what happens is they release the funds at $100. It goes back to the ATM, tells the ATM to release $100, and it'll charge them $100. And let's say you got $3 surcharge, it'll charge them $103. And if it then they take $103 out of their account and spend some money. And if it's my ATM, what happens is the next business day, I get that $100 plus the $3 surcharge back into my account. It's that simple. That's how the ATM business works, and it's guaranteed revenue. So if any of this is helpful, just type a 1 in the chat, and then we're going to see if we have any more questions. And if we do, great. If we don't, then that's it. Let's see. All right, so type 1 in the chat if this has been helpful. Okay. All right. So if you guys are interested in ATM business, we also have a course that teaches you how to do the ATM business. Basically, we call it the A to Z Mastermind. It'll teach you from A to Z how to get into the ATM business. It'll teach you everything there is to know about the ATM business. Also comes with mentoring that I mentor you. If you guys got questions or comments or concerns, I'm there. We schedule a call, jump on a call, and help you through your process. There's also location agreements, there's vault cash agreements, service agreements in there that'll help you. It cost me thousands of dollars to have those agreements drawn up, but those are part of the mastermind course. We also you can, if you decide to go through it and then you want to buy an ATM, we're a one-stop shop. We sell ATMs, we provide processing, we sell parts, along with we have technical service for after hours technical help. If you need help, we'll help you through the process, any technical problems that you have with your ATM business. So let's see. Will you please leave this up? This topic has stopped me from getting into, I don't know what I said. I'm from getting into this. All right. So, all right. So I will talk to you guys later, and thank you guys very much for being part of the live. Good night.